Who's there?
They're right there. They're coming out. They're coming out. They're coming out.
The man being escorted away by cops is accused of sexually assaulting a 13-year-old girl. His name, Cameron Thor.
Look at that creepy.
Is he in handcuffs?
Oh my God, Jordy.
Is
he? Sure as hell is.
The voice of the woman on the tape, his alleged teenage victim, and her father, videotaping from across the street.
What a creepy piece of.
The suspect played bit parts in Hollywood blockbusters like Jurassic Park.
That's 1.5 million if you get all 15 species off the island.
He's also known around Hollywood as a high-profile acting coach. Now he's under arrest on 13 counts, including kidnapping, lewd acts on a child, and sexual penetration. He has pled not guilty to all charges. It was here 6 years ago that Jordyn says her entire life changed. This beautiful remote canyon is where she says Thor sexually assaulted her when she was in the 8th grade.
It doesn't change. It's never going to go away. This is always going to be where he raped me.
Now 19, it took years for Jordyn to report the alleged rape to police, then followed a series of attempted sting operations to get Thor arrested. The case is going to trial, and Jordyn will soon have to take the stand. Jordyn says it all started when she was 12, about to turn 13. Her parents fell on hard times.
It was hard. I knew we had no money. My dad would walk 2 miles to bring us a lunch at school every day because he'd have to find money for that day to get us lunch.
On top of that, her mother, Patty, was a struggling alcoholic.
Did you feel like vulnerable at that point?
Yeah, very much so.
In what way?
My parents, they fought a lot. It was kind of just me and Josh, and we wanted to make sure my mom was okay. We wanted to make sure my dad was okay. It was just a really scary time for us.
Patty started going to AA meetings held at this local bank. Jordyn tagged along for support, and that's where Patty and Jordyn say they met Thor for the first time, a flashy Hollywood acting coach who claimed on his now defunct website to have taught big names like Cameron Diaz and Madonna.
What did you initially think of him?
He's very well-spoken, and he comes across very charismatic.
Jordyn says he enticed her by saying she could earn money as an actress, offering free lessons, and something far more attractive.
He told me that he would buy my braces because I had a really bad gap in my 2 front teeth, and the one was kind of crooked to the side, and kids aren't nice in middle school, so people are really mean to me about it.
And at the time, you felt your family couldn't afford it?
They couldn't. It's not what we felt. They actually couldn't.
Thor never followed up with that alleged promise.
Was there ever a time when you were suspicious of his motives?
No. I just thought he really liked her and thought she was a great kid and was trying to help her. That's all I ever thought.
Instead of going to his studio, she says Thor insisted she come to his home so that the other students wouldn't find out she was taking his class for free.
We went into his bedroom and he shut the door. He told me he needed me to make a collage of pictures of me. He was just really touchy. Every time he had a conversation with me, it was hand on my shoulder, hand on my leg, stuff like that.
What else did he say?
He told me I make him hard.
Did you know what he was talking about?
I really didn't know what he was talking about.
Jordyn says the lessons continued at his house.
The 3rd time we went upstairs again, he locked the door, and he was even creepier, just way more touchy, weird. And before I left, he said I had to give him a hug. He pressed his penis up against me and whispered in my ear, "You make me so hard."
What was your reaction? What was going through your mind?
I was freaked out. I didn't want to tell my parents because I assumed they would think it was my fault.
Why not say, I just don't want to do these anymore?
Because I didn't want to tell my parents why.
Jordyn says something happened in March 2009 that ruined her life. She says Thor picked her up from her house and took her here to this park.
And this is where he talked about really inappropriate things and asked me questions if I'd ever given head before, if I'd ever been eaten out or had sex. And I answered no to all those questions.
She says Thor then asked her to ask her mom if she could go for a drive to Malibu.
And so you texted your mom and asked permission. And was she gung-ho about this?
No, not at all. She was really hesitant.
Jordyn says her mom eventually relented, but instead of taking the road to Malibu, she says Thor turned towards Mulholland to Encinal Canyon and parked the car.
And then he pulled out a vial of marijuana. He was smoking and he rolled the windows up and had locked the car and had taken my cell phone also.
And then what happened?
He told me to get in the back seat, so I did.
Why did you do it?
So I was terrified.
Jordyn says the road was quiet. She didn't see a single car drive by.
There's just a mountain on this side and a cliff on this side, so there's nowhere for me to go.
No escape.
He got on top of me and was kissing me, and he took that black and white striped thing that I had on off, and was kissing me and leaning over on me and was grabbing me, putting his hands in my shirt, and he undid my pants and put his fingers in my pants.
When she got home, Jordyn says she kept quiet about what had allegedly occurred at the canyon.
He told me no one would believe me, and he told me that if I told my parents, my mom would start drinking again.
Jordyn, the 8th grader, says she believed the adult. She saw Thor once more after that, but then quit the lessons. She says she went from being a straight A student to getting B's and lower. A few months later, she finally confided in her older teenage cousin, Carly.
We were just talking, and I think I was telling her about a friend of mine. Something inappropriate had happened to her, and that's kind of how Jordyn matter-of-factly just brought up her experience. Immediately, I was like, wait, what did you just say? And then she got kind of scared and realized that I was reacting. I didn't tell anybody.
And then what happened?
Finally, I was like, what do I do here? So that's when I called my uncle.
And she said, do you remember when Jordyn was taking those acting lessons? And I was like, I think so. And she said something to the effect of, well, something very bad happened during those acting lessons. She said, I think he did something very bad to Jordyn.
Jordyn's parents got her therapy, but she was adamant she didn't want to go to police. Her parents respected her wishes. Her silence lasted 4 years until she says she finally worked up the courage to go to the authorities and agreed to be part of an attempted sting operation designed to get Thor to incriminate himself.
They had me text message him and send him like a general, hey, do you remember me type text? And he responded, oh my God, I miss you. I can't believe you contacted me. Of course I remember you.
Eventually, detectives got Jordyn to arrange for a meeting with Thor at the Starbucks inside this Barnes & Noble. Detectives bugged the table with a recording device, and Jordyn says that she thinks she heard an admission from Thor. Thor's lawyer disputes that. But detectives and the prosecutor didn't feel they had gathered enough evidence yet to arrest Thor, so they asked Jordyn to call him. While she spoke to him on the phone, detectives secretly taped the conversation.
They were just like having me ask him things and trying to get him to admit to it.
Shortly thereafter, that arrest. Jordyn was utterly relieved.
Oh, they got him.
You did it.
He was eventually released on bail and placed under house arrest, forced to wear an ankle bracelet. In a statement to ABC News, Thor's defense attorney, James Blatt, states that they feel that it's important that this case be decided in a courtroom, not in a television program, and that at this time there's a continuing intensive investigation by the DA and the defense to determine the truth concerning these allegations. We are confident that after the investigations are completed, Mr. Thor will be exonerated. Jordyn is just beginning to speak out, sharing her story with The Hollywood Reporter.
We decided that it would be a good idea to reach out and try to find Jordyn Ladell, who at the time hadn't gone public, so we only knew her as Jordyn L.
And Jordyn says navigating the criminal justice system has been a horrifying ordeal.
What's it like seeing him in the courtroom in the preliminary hearing, having him sit across the courtroom from you?
It was the nastiest, grossest feeling. I never want to be anywhere near that person ever in my life.
I have a vision that comes to me more than I care to admit of me standing up in the court, walking into the witness stand, grabbing her hand, and just going home. And, you know, that's challenging, very challenging.
But no matter the outcome, she feels she's done the right thing by pursuing charges against him.
It's by far the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life, and I would never tell somebody it's easy. I would tell them it's going to be the most challenging thing you've ever had to do, but it's worth it. You have to do it. You have to do it for yourself. You have to go from being like a victim to a survivor.